Live, and I got a phone call from one of my field reps, and it was important. I think I got the lights going on there now in the background, and so I had to take that call. I hate to miss a start time like that, but it happens. Now somebody else is calling, but that's spam, so I can forget about that. Let's look at the stunner here for a second. Okay, decline that. You know, if AT&T knows that it's spam, the hell, why don't they just send it off to Never Never Land? They show me on the phone that it's spam. So there you go. Okay, so let me see if I can find this stream. There we go. We're live. Nah, you know, if AT&T. Okay. Blue Shirt Buddha's in the house. Evening all. Vegas, Milgau's. Brian is in the house. Okay. So here we go. Let's get the side view. There's the side view with that beautiful signed crown on that Grand Seiko diver. And back to me. And here's the gold stunner that I'm wearing on my wrist here. And it's looking fantastic. Absolutely looks fantastic. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to the Timeless Razors folks. It's been a while since I mentioned them. I don't know if it's been a month or so whenever I got these. You can go back on my channel and see the videos when I first got them. These razors are absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it was Clive or who told me about doing the double-edge shaving deal. How much better it is than shaving with the... I've been using Harry's razors, and I think Clive was the one that kind of... I don't know if he's the one I first heard about it from, but I know we talked about it. And so I went ahead and got the Timeless razors. They're super well made, and for the first time in years, I actually look forward to shaving. I mean, what people say about this is true. How much better it is and how your skin feels better and everything afterwards. I mean, pretty fantastic stuff. So timelessrazor.com, I think, is their URL. I got some videos on the channel here. Let's see here. Oh, spam calls are out of control. What do we think of the upcoming slim Grand Seiko dress watches soon to be released? I saw that article, and I don't think they're slim enough. The automatic ones are like 13 point something, 13.3 millimeters or something. The manual line one is pretty slim. It's a little under 12 millimeters. But, you know, I would want an automatic watch if it was my wear all the time watch, and they're still not slim enough. I mean, the Rolex is slimmer. You know, the Datejust or the Day-Date, they're all slimmer than their auto watch. So yeah, they're on the right track, but still not slim enough. Great razors. Double edge is great, but watch out shaving aggressively with feathers. Yeah, I haven't bought the feathers yet. I'm using, is it Vikings? There's two different kinds of blades I'm using. One's Vikings, and what was the other? Darn, I don't remember what the other was. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Go to my Amazon. Where's my purchase history? Here we go. Orders. Let's see here. If Astra. A-S-T-R-A. Those seem to work really well. Those and is it Vikings or Viking? Anyway, those are great. And for aftershave, I'm using the Nivea, N-I-V-E-A, moisturizing post-shave balm. That is working out real well. So there's those two items there. So yeah, I'm a convert. My Harry's razors are parked. I don't have any problem at all. The first couple times I got a couple little cuts, but after the third time, I'm shaving with virtually no cuts. Nice close shave. I do 2 passes, not 3. Let's see, where was the Hodinkee did a article on the slim GSs. I think it was Hodinkee. Can live with the manual wine at just under 12 million. Not sure about the looks though. Yeah, I don't really like the case, the shape of the case on them either that much. Mercor blades. Haven't tried them yet. Have you compared GS Steel SBGA 229 with the titanium that you have? Is the shine that much different? I didn't see that much difference. I like the look of mine. I think it looks great. For me, the look of it is a non-issue. Some people say the stainless steel looks brighter. That the titanium's a little bit dull, but I don't think so. I think it looks fantastic. So for the comfort factor of the titanium, I would absolutely stick with the titanium. And it's not just the weight. It's the thermal properties of it. The stainless steel on your skin is not a good idea. Stainless steel right on your skin. Titanium is better for that purpose, or gold, or 18-karat gold. Steel should only be for affordable watches, I think. Luxury watches shouldn't be made out of steel, in my humble opinion. Let's see. Check out Grand Seiko website. I'll go ahead and show that link. Speaking of razors, did you get back from the barbershop? Looks like you got... I did get a haircut the other day. A couple days ago, actually. It was a nice warm day, so I walked into town and got a haircut. Ordered a 5-pack of Astros. I'll be comparing them to Derbies and Feathers. Yeah, I really like the Astros. Why did Dudley look so annoyed with you yesterday? I think that's the way he just looks. I don't think he was annoyed, but I think that's just his look. I'm glad to see you have a yellow gold model, SBGK006. Not sure I love the looks. I don't think that's the model of my watch. My gold stunner. That's not the model number, I don't think. I bet the GS Diver is a dream in those humid Maryland summers. Yeah, it's super comfortable on wrist. The best shave cream I've ever used is Kiss My Face from Amazon. Well, for shaving, for the cream, I use a different soap, with the brush and all that. I go through all that routine. So I was talking about aftershave for that other stuff. Thanks, Craig. I got a snowflake with your recognition. I'm looking to get the titanium diver as well. Not sure you need both. If you want an all-around watch, I think the snowflake is a good choice. If you want to rotate a dress watch like I have on now with a sport watch, then yeah, using the diver in rotation for a straight-up sport watch. So yeah, let's get to our topic. So there were a lot of, well, not a lot, but there were some comments about the day-date. First of all, somebody said you're talking about day-date too much. I'm talking about what's pertinent, and it's pertinent because Dudley bought one, and he's got experience with it for a week, and it's something to talk about, and so that's why it's on the radar screen, and that's why we're talking about it. Plus, somebody made the comment that, you need to buy like an offshore. You need to, if you want to impress people, you need to buy these popular watches now that everybody's buying, and so forth. And I responded. I said, "Listen, here's the deal. The day-date is the classic power watch. I mean, that's why the presidents wore it. That's why it is what it is." And that's not going to change just because some people are paying too much money for ugly Nautiluses or whatever, right? Whatever the flavor of the week is. I like watches that are in vogue for decades, and that's the day-date. The day-date will always be a cool watch to wear and always be a massive power watch, whether you buy the 36 mil or the 40 mil. It makes a statement. It is a power watch. So that's not going to change just because the hipsters happen to be buying some of these ugly watches these days. They're going to be stuck with those ugly watches, and It's a sad deal. So let's see here. What watch would you recommend for everyday watch that can be worn as a dress watch? Thanks. Datejust 36 would be good. If you want one in all gold, that would be really cool. You could even go steel and gold, or you just go steel with a Jubilee bracelet and a white gold bezel would be a good all-arounder, I think. Absolutely it would be. SBGK06 is one of the new GS Slims in yellow gold. Okay. If it's one I looked at, I didn't really like the case design of it. For under $1,000 for a dress watch, I don't know. One of those. There's some Seikos in that price range that are pretty good. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the Frank Mueller Vanguard series? I think about picking one up in stainless steel with a black dial and silver number. Yeah, I would pass on that. AP Royal Oak offshore, no thank you. Exactly, pass on those. Ask about the Casino Stunner you just bought. Okay. It's been the power watch for nearly 60 years. Class is permanent. Absolutely. Pre-ceramic sub. Yep, that's a good move. You mean the stainless stunner that we both just bought? Yeah, pass on those. Pass on the stainless stunners. Do you think that Cowgirl decided to cancel because she realized she didn't want a 60-something-year-old man installing/tinkering with camera equipment in her bedroom? I don't think she's got any 60-something-year-old man tinkering with camera equipment in her bedroom. I don't think that's happening. Let's see here. But what we can do is let's see here. Because that person's trying to be a little bit of an ass, we'll go ahead and hide them. What do you think about that? Okay, let's see. I honestly don't see why someone in their right mind would blow brand new Day-Date 40 money on a steel Nautilus or steel Royal Oak. Well, because they're just not, they're misguided. They're confused and they're making a serious mistake. Let's see here. My GS SBGH 255 Godzilla high beat diver is the watch killer. Don't have a desire. I'm not sure what you're. I don't have a desire for any other diver, especially if they are in steel, wearing this grade 5 titanium stunner. Yeah, once you wear a titanium watch, it's hard to go back to steel. Absolutely, if it's a high-end titanium watch. All right, so the other comment that somebody made was about the comment that I made that you should only spend about a week's salary or income on a watch. It's a luxury item, right? And or if you're like a multimillionaire, if you have $2-3 million net worth, go ahead and buy a $30,000 watch, right? It's not gonna wreck your world, right? And he basically made the comment, oh, you know, that's ridiculous or whatever, you know. And so, yeah, these people are just financing these watches and so forth. These people that are broke, they're buying like a $30,000 watch because they can put it on 2 or 3 credit cards or whatever. I mean, they can do that, and they can stay broke the rest of their life. That's okay, but I just don't think it's a good move. And even Tim makes a comment in there. He's in the business of selling watches. He even says that people shouldn't finance luxury goods. Of course, he doesn't make a point of saying it too often. He says it occasionally. I think if he said it too often, his bosses, even as good as he is, his bosses would probably cut him loose because they probably finance a lot of watch purchases. Datejust 36 in white gold or platinum with a blue dial, stroke indices. Yeah, I wouldn't buy a, if I was going to go gold, I wouldn't go white gold. I'd get a yellow gold watch. No reason to buy white gold. I would not go for the platinum. I just think it's too much money. I would just go with the yellow gold if you're going to spend that kind of money. Get yellow gold. It looks beautiful. I have 2 Hublot titanium stunners, and they're great. Well, there you go. Please help try and decide between 43 millimeter Sea Dweller 50th or just the standard ceramic Submariner. I don't like the maxi case on the standard ceramic. I think the Sea Dweller has a better case design. If it's the watch I'm thinking of. If I was going to get a new Rolex sport watch, I would get the Pepsi, and I would just wait and get it at list price. I think that's the way to go. The Pepsi with the Jubilee bracelet. Otherwise, I would just buy this watch right here, which is exactly what I bought, and you get a better watch than the Submariner for a lot less money, and then take the money that you save and go ahead and buy some Bitcoin with it. That's what I would do. Let's see. Durr's given some advice on that. There you go. How big is your wrist? Big. Go with the 43 millimeter Sea Dweller. Sea Dweller. It has better lug proportions. Absolutely, it looks better. Yep. I think Clive has one of those watches. Yep. Absolutely. And look at the side view of that beauty. Nice curvaceous beauty. So, let's see what else. Yellow gold looks too blingy in my opinion. I prefer the subtle style. Oh no, man, the yellow gold. Look at this. Does that look too blingy, folks? That's 18 karat yellow gold. I think it looks fantastic. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Put a Y in the comments if you think that looks stunning. Put a Y for yes. Or an S for stunning, either one. Y or an S. If you think it looks like garbage and you wouldn't wear it, then put no, as in no way. Craig, what do you think of the very popular G-Shock? I don't know the watch, but I mean, I wouldn't have any use for it. I mean, my Grand Seiko diver, this puppy here can take all the shock I can put at it. I mean, they're very rugged. The spring drive is a very rugged movement, so you're not going to have any problems with durability on that puppy. So I don't think it's a good idea, folks, just to make everything clear here, I don't think it's a good idea to have a whole bunch of watches. I just don't get it. I mean, you can't wear a whole bunch of watches. 2, maybe 3 watches max, and focus on quality, I think, is a better move, and quality and practicality, watches that you're actually going to wear and use. Wrist watches are designed to be on a wrist and worn and used. They're not designed to be stored somewhere in some box. And they're not investments. You'll go broke thinking that they're investments. Trust me, you will. Is the craftsmanship of a brand new Rolex as good as a 20 or 30-year-old one of the same model? I think they're good. Yeah, I think they're real well made. I think they're in some ways better than the older ones. If you must go with white gold, then Day-Date 40 is a great choice. Its rhodium coloring is smelted in, so it doesn't need to be replaced. There you go. Yeah, but I would get the yellow, man. The yellow looked beautiful. Because it's fun to have lots of watches, to each their own. I just don't get it. I mean, you know, you're right. I mean, you know, if you got a whole bunch of watches, I mean, Whatever floats your boat. If you have unlimited funds, then it's a non-issue. You know, if you're worth $100 million and you've got like $300,000 worth of watches, it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, right? But if you got all your money in watches, there are a lot of other things that you can spend money on, I think. Let's see. I have 4 vintage, dress, bling, and G-Shock. For the money, the G-Shock is a great beater. Hey, that's a great beater. That watch holds up great, my spring drive. Holds up great. I agree, quality over quantity, unless you're buying several Seiko 5 and a different color dial to match your outfit. And trust me when I tell you that this 18 karat gold on a black strap will go with just about any outfit. Okay? It will go fine. This diver will go with any sport outfit, any casual outfit, jeans, khakis, whatever the hell you're wearing. It's going to look fantastic. Fantastic is what I say. Let's see. To me, if you have so many watches that you need a winder to keep them all running, you're pushing it. Well, first of all, winders are not. It's not a good idea to use a winder. It's not good for the watches. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube talking about that. It's not a good idea to use a winder. Incorrect. If you have to use a winder, you've got too many watches. If you get the right quality watch, you don't have the need for other watches. For me, 1 GS and 1 gold Rolex every day. And statement. Absolutely. Very well said, Clay. It's just like a good woman. You get the right woman, you don't need a whole bunch of other women. Let's see. I had a vintage Datejust, and the quality of the watch was nowhere near the quality of what they are currently producing. The bracelets and clasps are even a ton better. You see, I didn't have any problem with the older bracelets. I mean, even the ones way back when they were like twisted around, and I mean, they were really, I mean, we didn't really have any problem with them. They held up fine. The clasps were okay. You have to sometimes adjust the swing bar a little bit so it'll go tight. But yeah, in general, we didn't have a real problem with the bracelets on those watches. Don't listen to what you hear on a lot of these forums and stuff, like these people that have never had any of these watches, never worn them for years. A lot of these people are clueless, so I wouldn't listen a lot to a lot of these people that have no experience with the watches. Let's see here. You're right, of course, from a sensible point of view, but fun is also something people do spend money to have. I'm just saying there should be some balance, right? I mean, you got people that spend a ton of money on a watch, and then they don't have any decent clothes to wear with it, right? I mean, they don't have a decent home. They don't have decent furniture. They don't have, you know, they spend all their money on this one thing, and they get obsessed with it, and they neglect other parts of the I'm just saying, be a little more well-rounded, I think, with your purchases. I think might be a good idea. So true liberty is buying them by saving. Okay, I hope you like all those watches, because if you ever calculated how much they're really costing you and lost opportunity, you would be amazed how much they're actually costing you. Read up on something called compound interest. Compound interest. It's pretty freaking amazing. I like to keep two humble watches in rotation, a Seiko SKX diver as a sport watch, SARB 035 on the leather as a dress. There you go. There was nothing wrong with the quality of the vintage Datejust that I had. It's just the quality of the current product is much better. Okay. One dress watch, one sport watch, optional chronograph or world time. They don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You know where that saying came from? So here's the deal. Back in the day, and this even predates me, by the way, which means it was a long time ago. Back in the day, the leather tanneries used to use human urine to tan the leather. And so the poor folks would have a pot, and they would piss in the pot, and they would periodically take it down to the tannery, and the tannery would give them some money for the piss. And so that's where the saying came from. They're so poor, they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So that's where that saying came from. Do you think buying gold is a good long-term investment? No, the returns are not that great on gold. No, I would buy high-quality mutual funds. That's what I have bought, or real estate, or Bitcoin. All three of those things would be, I think, a better move than buying gold. Please comment on the fear factor of wearing a gorgeous 18-karat gold ring. Gold ring, like on your finger, like a wedding band? I don't think there would. I don't think people rob you to take that. They would rob you to take a gold Rolex if you're in a rough section of town. I'd be concerned. Tommy T, my Datejust was a 1967 as well. Craig is the Confucius of watch ownership. I'm not sure about all that. It's a great piece. Thoughts on wristwatch rentals? Yes, they exist. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. Thanks for the history lesson. Please comment on the fear factor of wearing a gorgeous 18-karat Rolex in public for the first time. I think it depends on where you are. I wore them for years and years, and I never really felt any issue. But I was never really in like the rough section of town or whatever. I did have one time when I was in Baltimore, and a guy approached me and said he was going to take all my stuff. I had all my camera gear and everything. I had a lot of stuff with me. That was the only time really and that was maybe 5 years ago or whatever, when I was covering the Baltimore Grand Prix race. But that's really the only time, and he was pretty harmless. When I told him that, this was where they'd find him if he persisted, he kind of turned around and decided he'd better go find somebody else to mess with. So that really wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, if you're in rough areas, I think it would be a problem. Craig, if you only had $1K to spend on a watch, what watch would you get and why? The Shogun, SBDC 007. I did a video on that watch. It's a fantastic watch. You can buy them for probably $800, brand new. If the Shogun is out of your reach, then also look at the Seiko Sumo, same 6R50 movement, and you can get them for less than $500 online. Yep, that's correct. It's like going out. Oh, who the heck is that? Upper Marlboro, Maryland. That's somebody trying to sell something. Okay, somebody trying to sell something. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. It's like going out with a mustache for the first time. You think everybody's looking at your lip. 2 years ago, you could buy Datejust for well under 1,000 pounds. Now they more than doubled. Yeah, you can get them for steel ones for $2,000 now here in the U.S. In Baltimore, you practically need a bodyguard to protect your tutor. There you go. Yeah, there's some rough spots there. So anyway, I just wanted to just clarify some things because there was a little bit of confusion. But there's no confusion about that stunner. I got the focus nailed on that puppy today. Look at that. Look at the dial on that puppy. And look at that second hand. I mean, give me a break. Are you freaking kidding me? And you can buy those for around $5,000. You know, pre-owned. You can probably get one for not that much more than that new if you're a really sharp negotiator. I think $5,500 or so might be a deal, a meal deal price. I think list price is still $7,100 on that titanium diver, Grand Seiko diver. And people say, well, you know, do you think the hands are ugly? Well, see, when you're looking at like a macro shot like that, the hands look a little bit more aggressive, or whatever term you might want to use, but in person they really look good. I have no issue whatsoever, and they're so readable. It's just super readable in any lighting situation, which for my older eyes really helps a lot. So yeah, that watch is absolutely amazing, and you can see the power indicators pegged. Even if I take it off my wrist for like 4 or 5 hours, you know, it's pretty close to pegged, and then I wear it for an hour or two and it's just pegged again. I mean, it's very efficient on the winding and everything. They just really nailed it with that watch, and it's running about, let me see, I'm looking at my laptop right now. Let's see when it gets straight up. Let's see, I'm going to tell you when it's straight up. 522 right now. Okay, so it's about 4.5 seconds fast, I'd say. Something like that. And this is since like early November. Which restaurant in your area does the best crab cakes? Callahan's Seafood is fantastic. Callahan's. They're listed on Frederick.com. Look under seafood restaurants on Frederick.com, and you'll see them there. They're listed. On atomic time, it's about 30 seconds. So remember, there's a delay. There's a delay. So no, it's not 30 seconds slow. It's about 4 seconds fast. The hands on that GS looks like a GMT hand, and Mercedes hand had a kid and overfed them. They actually look really good in person. Again, you got to really look at and use these watches to really know, because you just look at these macro shots and stuff online, and it doesn't really tell the story. It's not like having it on your wrist. Could you make verbs out of the following words? Rolex, Rolex DAY-DATE, love Maryland crab cakes. Yeah, they can be good. I mean, you know, some of them have a lot of filler and stuff. Some of the places don't really know how to make them right. But yeah, if they do them right, they can be, crab cakes can be fantastic. Very rich. Very rich food. They always put a lot of butter and stuff in them, whatever they put in them, to make them really, really rich. So again, one more shout out, Timeless Razors, folks. If you want to diversify a little bit away from watches and get a super high quality, made in USA razor, Timeless Razors. This thing is really well made. This is solid. I like this one better than the bronze one. The bronze one the handle is shorter and not quite as, doesn't have quite the grip. I still use it. As a matter of fact, I use this one primarily in the shower. I have one of those fog-free mirrors in the shower so I can shave in the shower, and it's really, really easy to shave in the shower. There's something about having all that steam around and all that that really helps, and it's just super smooth. And so yeah, but if I had to do over again, I would probably just buy the stainless one here with the longer handle, and it's a little bit more aggressive as far as the angle or whatever they call it, the gap or whatever. But both of them are absolutely fantastic. Let's see here. Everybody has to have a crutch. I don't smoke, drink, or have any other bad habits. I have a nice home, and my wife has been dressing me for 15 years. Well, there you go. It's probably, that may or may not be a good idea, depending on if she knows what she's doing. I've always worn Seikos, and now you've got me interested in the Grand Seikos. Thanks. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. That could be costly. Pepper crab or garlic crab. All right. Well, I think we might have solved all the world's problems. I don't see Clivester in the house. I was going to invite him in if he was in here, but I don't see him. Why don't I see if I can give David a wrench? I don't know if I can do that on the iPad. Let me see if I can. It's not. There we go. Let's see here. Add moderator. There we go. I just gave David a wrench. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about giving David Williams a wrench? You guys think that's a good idea? He's a good guy. Oh, I did want to talk. Somebody else asked about the Oxford close. And I did want to show this. I found a cool article on this website, Mr. MR-Mag, mr-mag.com, inside Oxford close, newest facility. And this was kind of an encouraging article, and I highly recommend you guys take a look at it. If I remember, I'll put a link in the notes. But it's titled "Inside Oxford Close, Newest Facility That Crafts America's Finest Suits." And what's neat about this, what's encouraging about this article, is evidently they've invested in a new facility. And so not only are they not going out of business, but they're doubling down. And they have a more modern, climate-controlled facility. Evidently, their other facility didn't have air conditioning in the summertime. In southwest Chicago. Although there are still 179 steps in the production of Oxford suit, which takes approximately 25 hours of handwork to complete just the coat, excluding pattern creation, cutting and final pressing. The 120 talented artisans who craft these exceptional garments can now be more efficient than ever in their 45,000 square feet of bright, airy space, now all on one floor. So they moved to a new facility after many, many years in the other facility. This is really good news, folks, that an operation producing things in the United States of America are doubling down on their production here. Let's see what else it talks about. They got new technology to track various procedures, and so they're using technology where they can, but they're still doing a lot of handwork and everything in the actual production of the garments. They're using technology to make things more efficient and to track customer orders and all those kinds of things, but the actual work is remaining the same. It says, indeed, in my brief visit, I witnessed numerous steps requiring precise hand-eye coordination, cutting, basting, sewing, pressing, skills that must take years to perfect, yet the average age on the floor was surprisingly young. That's good news, too. I watched artisans expertly cutting fabric, one layer at a time, meticulously basting a canvas to the front of a coat, pressing garments to perfection, etc., etc., etc. So, this is all very, very good news. Bottom line, the new workshop is a perfect balance of old world craftsmanship and modern technology. According to Oxford President Bob Denton and VP Chris Brusner, whatever his name is, business is currently healthy. We're not a huge company and probably never will be. We're small but profitable with 90 active doors, including 5, I guess he means like stores. That's probably supposed to say stores. I don't know. Including 5 Neiman Marcus stores and top independent men's stores. So, really good news. By the way, this Oxford sports coat is silk and camel hair. A silk and camel hair blend. Let's see here. Okay, Grand Seikos aren't just a couple of steps up from normal Seikos. They're a whole different league. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're a whole different ball game. Oxford suits. I have an Oxford jacket. Somehow I always thought it was British. Good point. Good point. That's probably why they named it that. It's from Boston. No, they're actually Chicago. Chicago, Chicago. Okay. The Grand Seiko Spring Drive is one of the most accurate movements, better than any Swiss watch. I don't know about the quality being all that great. Yes, the quality is stellar. Stellar. Superlative. I keep looking at the Slim GS and not falling in love. Yeah, I wasn't that impressed with the looks of those, to tell you the truth. Yes, I'm about to retire at 62. I might just treat myself to something nice like a GS. Well, there you go. Maybe like that Spring Drive Stunner right there. Absolutely. Can't wait till I print out my suit. 3D printers are the future. Oh, speaking of future, we also have to talk about Bitcoin briefly because there were some confused people regarding Bitcoin. I read the article. Kind of meh for me. I guess you're talking about the GS Slim. Yeah, exactly. What is good about camel hair? It feels good. I think it's durable. I think it's more durable than cashmere, possibly. It has good insulating properties. You can Google it. Google it. I also have one that's made of, what are those cute animals? Alpaca. It's kind of cool. Doors is a term used, resell. Yeah, I guess you're right. Doors. Yeah, that's what they were meaning by that. Exactly. Yeah. That's what they were meaning by that. Okay, so, yeah, okay, Bitcoin, before we wrap up. So somebody was confused about private keys and taking control of your Bitcoin and being safe and so on. And there's a whole bunch of articles now about how Bitcoin it's unsafe and hackers can get your Bitcoin and all this stuff. And they're talking about that exchange up in Canada where that guy, took off with like $150 million worth of Bitcoin, claimed he's dead, but some people say now that he he faked his death so he could steal the money and all that. Well, yeah, if you put your money on an exchange, it's just like in the old days of the Wild Wild West. If you put your money in a bank and then the bank was robbed, well, your money might be gone, right? Back there wasn't any insurance or anything like that, right? So if you trusted a third party to hold your gold and that third party got robbed, then, hey, your gold might be gone. So with Bitcoin, the key is that you do not want to trust a third party. You don't need to trust a third party. You can secure your own Bitcoin. You can have control of your own private keys. If you're using like a Trezor hardware wallet, for example, you're gonna get 24 secret words in a certain order that are basically going to be your keys to restore if something happened to that device, that hardware wallet, and whatever. If you had to like gain access to your Bitcoin, you would need to have those 24 words in the correct order in order to get access. So that's pretty secure. So there are ways that you can protect yourself from losing your Bitcoin, but it really is about personal responsibility. As Adam Meister says often, personal responsibility is the new counterculture. So with Bitcoin, there is no 800 number you can call if you lost your keys, if you forgot your password, whatever. You know, you're out of luck, right? There is no head office to call. There's no insurance. So it really is personal responsibility. You need to take control of your private keys and keep your Bitcoin secure. That's the way that all works. I'd get an Omega before a Tudor. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, yeah, that's not even a tough call. Was that guy who disappeared with all that Bitcoin named D.B. Cooper? There you go. Possibly. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's nothing new under the sun, right? I mean, there have been robberies and thefts of gold bullion and currency and, you know, all kinds of things for ever since there was any such thing. I mean, back in the days of the Romans, right? People got robbed and people would take their gold and so on. I mean, that's where we are. I mean, you got to be responsible. Now, if you do use a third party, let's say you use Coinbase here in the U.S. to hold your Bitcoin, theoretically, they claim they have insurance, and they probably do. They're regulated and so forth. So there are going to be third parties that you can likely trust more than others, obviously. And as this whole thing matures, there are going to be more and more entities that will hold your Bitcoin for you that are probably going to be pretty trustworthy. You know, as trustworthy as putting your money in Bank of America or something, right? Personally, I would still rather just control my own destiny. Because remember, if you got it with a third party, then the government can come and get it too, right? They can get access also. Let's see. Please join me in giving Craig some likes. Thank you. Well, thank you, Rick. Always bury your Bitcoins in a coffee tin in the backyard. There you go. There you go. Absolutely. So the whole point of Bitcoin is for the internet to have a monetary system that is not controlled by any government or bank or central bank or any big organization, that is not controlled by somebody like that. And with that comes responsibility. If the whole thing is simply operating and it's all math and it all works a certain way, and by definition with Bitcoin, if I send you some Bitcoin and you get that Bitcoin, I can't later say, oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that, please give it back, I can ask you to give it back, and you can give it back if you want to, but there's no way for me to force you to give it back. There's nobody I can call and say, hey, reverse that transaction like you can with a check where you can stop payment or something, right? So with that trustless system, that system where the system is what you trust, that the system will do what it's supposed to do every time. And that is, if I give you Bitcoin, it's like giving you cash, right? And you just take the cash and you go, right? If that's the system, then that's the way it's going to work. And we have to live with it, and we have to manage our Bitcoin accordingly, is what I think. If you die, can they be inherited? You'd have to make sure that whoever you want to inherit it, that somehow you give them your private keys. So you need to safeguard that information and make sure that they get it upon your passing. You have to make sure that a bad guy doesn't get it first, right? So it does need to be secure somewhere. A good idea is if you have 24 words, for example, keep 12 of the words one place and 12 of the words at another place. And so that if a thief comes in and gets 12 of them, he's not going to get the others. And actually the 12, let's say the first set of 12, you need those to be at least 2 different places, right? And then the second set of 12, you need those to be at 2 different places, different from those, right? So you really need 4 secure locations minimum, to be safe. Because if you have the 12 words, the first 12 words at one location, and that location burns down, you could have a real problem on your hands. So yeah, it's real personal responsibility time, folks. Craig, is it true you're just a butler in that mansion behind you, and all those watches you're showing us belong to your employer who owns the house and is now on holiday in Hawaii? Yeah, absolutely. How did you know? How did you know that? That's absolutely the case. The only thing better than your own watch is other people's watches. Other people's watches. That's the way to go. Cost you nothing. Let's see. I love the stock market and have done pretty well, but Bitcoin really is over my head. Have you made any videos about the subject, Craig? If so, be sure to check them out. I think I put a link in the description of this video. I've got a section on my website called Take Control Downloads that has some information on Bitcoin, a fair amount of information on Bitcoin. So definitely check that out. I've kind of curated, I put some videos in there that are pretty good. Yeah, I would learn. I think you'd enjoy learning about it. Let's see. Let's see. If they shut down the internet like they would in a terrorist attack or natural disaster, are you screwed? No, because a lot of the nodes are still going to be intact that keep track of all the transactions and all that. And they even have a system with satellites where that can all be uploaded and so forth. It's the people that are behind the Bitcoin are pretty sharp cookies. And it's all over the world, so you'd have to literally shut everything down. Like, I mean, you'd have to like zap like computers all over the world in order to really do that. There are a lot of nodes. Everyone should hit the like button on these live chats. Easy to forget since you have to exit the chat box to do it, then return to the chat. Just takes a second. Well, there you go. Craig, where do you keep your account number and passwords? I'll email that to you. I'll give you all that information, no problem. Hey everybody. Hey Craig, how's it going? The Watch Lounge is in the house. Watch Lounge, take a look at that puppy there. What do you think about that? Let me know what you think about that. Hey man, let's see. What color dial on the 36mm President looks best? For me, for legibility, I would probably get the black dial, similar to the dial that Dudley has on his 40 mil, but that's because it's more legible. And I think it looks good, too. I think the black dial looks classy on the Day-Date, but that's really your personal preference. I also like the white dials. They're kind of rare. A lot of them have the silver dial. That's the dial that mine had, which does not have very much contrast. The gold dial, even less contrast as far as readability. They all look great, I think. Even some of them that had the green dials looked pretty stunning. It's hard to find an ugly Day-Date unless you throw a bunch of diamonds on it and stuff like that. I don't go in for the diamonds. And I also don't like the Roman numerals. I like just the loomed hash marks. I don't like the numbers on the dial either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't like that either. Some of them have that. I just like the hash marks. Which is the more standard dial. Definitely a nice diver. There you go. How does it wear, big or is it light on the wrist? Oh, it's very comfortable because it's titanium. It's every bit as comfortable as like a 36 mil Datejust, really. I mean, it's that comfortable. And the bracelet is very flexible, very smooth, very well finished. So it needs no break-in time. As soon as you put it on your wrist, it's just comfortable. It has micro adjustments in the clasp, so it's very easy to get it adjusted properly. Then, of course, it has that diver extension mechanism so that if you're out and it's like humid and your wrist swells a little bit, you can extend it a little bit on the fly, you know, without taking it off your wrist, which I like. I don't like to have to take a watch off the wrist, you know, to extend it. So it really checks all the boxes for me for a heavy-duty use, rugged use sport watch. That's how I would describe that. It can take a licking, and it can keep on ticking. And as far as being big, if you look at the lugs, the way the lugs are shaped, it kind of really fits nicely to the wrist. I think it fits fine on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. I don't think you'd want it on a wrist much smaller than that. I think you'd want to have about a 7 1/4 inch wrist or up for that watch. Maybe a 7-inch wrist, you could probably push it and make it work. But yeah, that's my take on the sizing on that puppy. Champagne, if your eyes are good. Good point. Call Clyde, he won't mind. He calls Mark. My ultimate grail diver is Blancpain 50 fathoms. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll text Clive and see if he can come in real quick. And if he can, we'll keep it going here for a little while. But otherwise, we'll probably wrap it. Let me just get in here and see if he's around. Can you join the show? We'll see what he says. So, all right. My ultimate grail diver is Blancpain 50 fathoms. It's actually a good-looking watch, I think. In a lot of ways, but I still would rather have the GS. Just released some new pre-Baselwood models. Have you seen them, Craig? They're hand. Yeah, I didn't like the looks of them that much. I have to see them in person to really know. 18238 or 118238. Well, the 18238 I think is better looking. I like the brushed on the lugs and all. I just like the looks of the watch better, and I think it's more comfortable on wrist because it's lighter weight. The 118238 has the center links that are solid on the bracelet, so it might hold up better as far as bracelet stretch. So there are pluses and minuses between the two. I didn't have any real problem with my 18238 as far as bracelet stretch. It was holding up fine after 20 years of use. So it depends on how often you're going to wear it, how abusive you're going to be on it, and all that. You know, you might want the 118238 as far as, you know, the solid center links and all that. to hold up a little better if you're going to wear it a lot and be kind of hard on it. And if you're going to be super hard on it, then get the newer one with the ceramic sleeves in the bracelet. I understand that's in the 36 mils as well now. Careful that Timex doesn't get upset you're using their slogan. There you go. Good point. Everybody gets offended these days. What does a two-tone sub go for in the States? Good question. What do you guys think? Around 10 grand? Clive might be in court 2 hours behind us. Is he 2 hours or 1 hour? I didn't know he was 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, he could be. Basel World MEE 36 millimeter movement. What are your thoughts on Arnold and Son watches? I'm going to get to borrow one really soon. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with them. Let me just Google them real quick here. My gosh, they look expensive. Wow. Here's one for $5,950 on Govberg Jewelers. That's Tim's operation. Yeah, a lot of them. I'm looking at a lot of them, like these tourbillons and all these. I'm not a fan of all that stuff. That's for you hipsters. I wouldn't buy any of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would probably pass on the watch. For that kind of money, I would buy a Grand Seiko. I think get a better watch. But I'm taking a look at one right now here. Okay, so let's bring it up here. All right, so first of all, I don't like the way the lugs look like they're kind of stuck on the case. And see how there's like even a seam here? I don't like the way they don't like flow nice and smooth out of the case. So I'm not a fan of that lug design. The rest of the watch, I mean, it's okay. I wouldn't call it anything that special. I mean, personally, I would rather have a snowflake, a spring drive snowflake than that watch. Let's see how thin it is, though. It looks like it's real thin. That's a plus. It's a 40 millimeter watch. Why don't they give the thickness? It looks like it's real thin. That would be a big plus, that it's real thin. So for a dress watch. So, yeah, I mean, if you could get one cheap enough. See, this one retails for $9,900 and they're selling it for $5,900. So, yeah, if you could get one for like $3 grand or something, might be a good move. He's in his car. Clive is. So maybe he can't join us. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that lug design. But it does look nice and thin. I'll give it that. That's a big plus. I kind of refer to these kinds of watches as what I call no-name watches. I would rather stick with the big names, like getting a Rolex or Grand Seiko and Omega. I just like having the big names because then if I do need to have it serviced, I know it's not going to be an issue, and it's just, I just like sticking with the big names as the way I do it. But there might be something to those. I just wish the GS dress watches were slimmer, so I'm sad not to be loving the news. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you got to go with something like this baby here. I mean, yeah, it's the 9F movement, but for a dress watch, to me, that's okay. I don't have a problem with having the 9F movement for a dress watch because you don't, by definition, you're not wearing it all the time probably, and so that you don't have to worry about it stopping. This one's 10 mils thick. right? 35 mil watch. I think it's perfect. I mean, of course, I bought it. Obviously, I think it's pretty good, or I wouldn't have bought it. I do need to get the strap dealt with because it's not centered properly, because it's not the right length on this side. It needs to be longer. My wrist is too fat for this particular bracelet, and this strap, I mean. If my wrist was like 6 3/4 inches or something, then it would the clasp would be way down here, it'd be more centered, right? But that's not the fault of the watch. That's just the strap that's on it. And when I get a chance to get over and see Steve, we're gonna get a nice alligator strap that'll fit. I want to keep the GS clasp, the GS stamped clasp, because it's 18 karat gold too. But yeah, I am surprised that they. Because some of the Cradors are nice and thin that are spring drive. So I know you can make a thinner spring drive watch. I don't understand why they don't do it. A lot of these big chunky watches, and this is like the fad, right? These chunky watches, like you see Tim a lot on the Watchbox show. He's wearing some like big chunky watch. I mean, it looks terrible on his wrist. I mean, if I was a watch person and I was wearing something like that, I mean, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be like, geez, what's going on here? This guy's one of the smartest guys in the business. He can wear just about anything he wants, and he's got some ugly, thick, clunky watch on his wrist. Very strange. Very strange times we live in. Let's see here. Clyde is hunting chicks with his chick car. There you go. You know what I think looked pretty cool? Urban Jurgelson. Okay, I believe that the one they're sending is the new Globetrotter. There you go. Clyde is hunting chicks. I already read that. What an egotistical guy Arnold must be. I don't know what that was all about. Mark Goldberg posted his bluesy on Facebook for $7K. There's one for sale locally for $4K Canadian. Huh. You know, that's the other thing that a lot of these watch people that talk people into buying all these watches don't tell you is it is not easy to sell watches. Okay, I'll repeat that. It is not easy to sell watches, even if you have it priced right. I mean, you got to get somebody to send you the money. He's got to trust that you're going to then send him the watch. I mean, there's a lot of issues to deal through, right? And now if you consign it to somebody to sell it, they're going to take a nice chunk of the money. So there goes your profit, right? So these are not that liquid. These watches are not liquid assets. They're not that easy to just go ahead and sell without taking a bath. So that's something to think about. Yes, the 9F in yellow gold could be good. I'll have to check out what is currently available. They're hard to find. Like this piece here is supposedly available new, but good luck finding one. Now there are some of them on eBay right now. I think there's one for about $3,800 that's been on there for like forever, right? You could probably get for like $3,200. But yeah, they're hard to find. I don't know why they don't make more of that kind of stuff. It's a fantastic watch. I just don't get it. I don't get the style of a lot of these watches these days. These big, thick clunker watches. Let's see here. What else? Jaeger-LeCoultre Ultra is known for being Patek Philippe quality for Rolex money, but their movements are quite delicate. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like a delicate movement. That's what I like about the 9F, is this thing's very compact and all that, but they're rugged. The 9F movement is known to be very rugged. Let's see here. Goldberg wants dealer prices. He said, well, if he's not in a hurry to sell it, and if he can get it, more power to him. But good luck with all that. It's not that easy. Some say the thickness is due in part to the long power reserve, which they say requires a winder, mainspring, or something. Yeah, but like I said, there are some in Cradors that are thinner, and they've got one. Their entry-level spring drive, I think, is about 12 mils. I think the Snowflake is 12.5 mils thick. So that's getting there. I mean, if they could get it down just under 12 mils, like 11.8 mils or something, that'd be getting better. Tim's a good liar. Okay. Nice show. Okay. Tim can make any watch sound desirable. It has worked on me more than once. Yeah, but he will let slip. If you listen closely, he will kind of like give indicators that this particular watch he's showing is not all that. I mean, he'll, like when he's talking about, when he's showing a, this is a perfect example. When he's showing a Daytona, right? He'll be talking about the case and the beautiful shape of it and all, and the lugs and all that, and he'll be saying something like, yeah, this isn't anything like the maxi case with the slab sides and all that. And in other words, if you read between the lines, he'll be kind of like trashing the maxi case, right? When he's talking about the fluid lines, the smooth lines of the case on the Daytona, right? And same thing like if he's talking about a Datejust or a Day-Date or something, right? He'll give you those signals that are telling you that the maxi case is something you should run away and hide from. You know, it's just ugly, right? But he won't come out and say that. He'll kind of say that. So you got to kind of read between the lines with Tim on some of this stuff. Yeah, Tim is very smart. I have a Coke Z cereal, full kit, excellent condition, and being offered two-tone Daytona, good condition, watch only. What do you think value-wise? I love both watches. I'm not familiar enough with those two watches and the values and all that to give you any intelligent information on that. But I would not go for the Daytona myself. I think they're busy looking, and I think it's a fad. I would just... Those watches were never that desirable back in the day for good reason. They're a specialty watch if you're racing and stuff like that, and you need that functionality, fine. But otherwise, I would run away, run away, run away. I would buy something more practical like a Datejust 36 or Day-Date or something like that. Thinking you can flip a Rolex and make a quick buck. Unless you're skilled like the Wrangler, the consignment fees from seller could suck up any potential money made. Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, he's done well on some of his watches, but on balance, I bet you he's lucky if he's broken even on all the money he's spent on watches over the years. And I bet you if he did a spreadsheet on that whole deal, he'd find out that, you know, he really didn't do as well on all that stuff. I think he doesn't care. I think it's more a hobby. I don't think it's his way of making a living. I think his job is how he makes his money. Craig by a Patek Calatrava. I tell you what, this watch has a lot of big advantages over a Calatrava. It's every bit as attractive as far as the shape of the case. See those lugs? See how gorgeous those lugs are? Right? It's every bit as attractive. The dial is absolutely stunning. I mean, just absolutely stunning. This ivory, they call this the ivory color dial. And the hands and the indices and everything, they're all 18 karat gold. I mean, it is just, forget about the price, right? Let's say they were the same price and you had them side by side. I mean, this watch has a lot of huge advantages. It's got the 9F movement, which is spot on accurate and super durable. Won't have to be serviced for 50 years, if ever. It is ready to go at any time. I don't have to wind it. It can sit down for 3 or 4 days. I can pick it up, put it on my wrist, just ready to go. It just has a lot of advantages over the Calatrava. It just does. I hate to break the news. Good crap is hard to find. What's the latest with TGV? Good question. I don't know. I may pick up a JLC Master Control sometime this year. Love the new 39 mil size, perfect dress watch. I wonder that too. Okay. If you can have only 2 Rolexes, what 2 would you own? Probably a 36 mil day-date and a Pepsi. The new Pepsi would be pretty fantastic 2-watch rotation, if you ask me. Tim does wear some big watches, but your Seiko diver is 44 mil. People like different size watches for different reasons. Yeah, but my 44 mil, it wears more like a 40. I mean, it really does because of the weight and the shape of the case and the bracelet and everything. I'm not a fan of big watches, trust me. If it wore like a big watch, I wouldn't be wearing it. I wouldn't own it, right? It really is super comfortable on wrist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There are only 2 high-end brands in this world, Breguet and JLC. Well, there you go. I love the maxi case. Well, you got, how should I say, bad taste? Is that how you say that? Yeah, the maxi case is not a good way to go. It's kind of ugly, especially on the sub. I'm wearing the Pepsi. They softened it some. It looks a lot better on the Pepsi. If you get a steel Daytona for retail, then go for it and flip it. Good point. Flip it while you can. Hobbies aren't cheap. Depends on how you work it. You can work a hobby in such a way that you actually make money on it. If you're sharp and smart about it, yeah. But yeah, they can be a disaster too. Things get out of control. 7-year wait here in the UK. What, for a Pepsi? You'll be able to get one a lot sooner than that. The market's going to crash, folks. What is the reference number of your gold 9F again? Sorry, I know you've told us before. Let me pull it up here on my page, and I can show you. And just so you know, I have a page on my website. If you go to the More menu, pull it down, and go to Grand Seiko. Here, I'll show you. I have a whole page about Grand Seiko, and I have my diver first, and I have all the information about the diver. I mean, just insane deep dive information into the diver. You keep going, keep going. Then I've got some things on the Snowflake, which I've owned. Got some stuff on the Snowflake. Keep going, then all the way down here, almost to the bottom, you can see here I've got the 18 karat gold stunner in here. And it is the SBGX038. SBGX038. You can see it right there. Okay. And there are some of them on eBay for sale. There's one I think that's brand new that's like, I don't know, 46 or 4,800 or something that the guy's had for sale forever and can't sell it. And then there's one that's like similar to mine as far as condition. It looks real good, and I think they're asking like 3,800 or something like that for it. So yeah, that's my gold stunner. Okay, there's the unboxing video. Import duties on this. Sometimes GS at the top and does not have Seiko. It is small by today's standards. See the shape of that case? But for a dress See the lugs? And I like the drilled lugs, by the way. People say, oh, you shouldn't have drilled lugs on a dress watch. I think it's cool. Specifically underneath the shirt cuff. I think it's super cool. It's nice and thin. It's only 10 millimeters thick. That is a gorgeous freaking watch. Let's get that out of the way. Pretty much spot on with those markers. And see how thin that is in the side view? That's what's really stunner. Look at that signed see how crown. The sides are. Look at the clasp. Gives you the comfort on wrist. And there's a nice 18 karat gold. I think I paid $3,200 for mine. I made an offer on it. I think I paid $3,200. And you got 4 screws to take loose to look at the gold back. About every 3 or 4 years. And I got box and papers. And this one came with the papers. So yeah, I'm of course, this came all the way from extremely Japan. Pleased with that purchase. I mean, that could be my best watch purchase ever, really. I think it's really a good one. Let's see. Craig, do you call the reference number of the gold standard? Yeah, we just talked about that. It's true the new GS collection SBGK is thinner than the regular automatic 9S movement, but its 11.6 millimeter dress watches are below 8 millimeter with 72 hour power. See, this one is 10. This gold stunner I have is 10 mils thick, 10 millimeters, which I think is great for a dress watch. You can go thinner, but then I think it starts getting kind of ridiculously thin looking. I mean, this thing here, I think is just, I think they nailed it. I think it's just got just the right amount of bulk to it. And remember, sure it's 35 mils, but the dial is a pretty decent size because the bezel's not that big on it. Okay, so it's very readable, even with my old eyes. I mean, it's very readable. I'll bet you that the dial real estate is very similar to my 36 mil day-date because this bezel's not quite as wide as the 36 mil day-date was with the fluted bezel on it. This bezel's not quite as wide as that. So I'll bet you that the dial, the actual dial on this is probably the same size as like a 36 mil Datejust or a 36 mil day-date. So it's a very readable watch. So if you want a great luxury dive watch, then you can find some great gray market deals on the brand new Omega Seamaster Professional 300M. There you go. It's too thick for me though. For what it is, it's too thick and too that would not be comfortable on wrist for me because it's not titanium. Clive is 1 hour behind Eastern time. There you go. I thought that was the case. Looks like an interesting video about the gold stunner. Yeah. What do people think of the Mont Blanc 1858 collection? Yeah, I would pass on Mont Blanc personally. I would just take a pass on that. I think I'm going to wrap the show, folks. Is there anything else that you want to ask? And let me think what else. I think that's about it. Sarah is planning on getting her audio problems worked out, and hopefully we'll do a show Monday night. So if she does, please, folks, do not troll her, for gosh sakes. Jeez, you people. And some of you all have been decent, but a lot of people were trolling her last week, and that was not cool. Let's see. Am I the only one here that's bored of the constant day-date and gold Grand Seiko talk? No, I'm sure a lot of people are bored. But I've been addressing your comments, for gosh sakes, people. The other thing that has to be taken into consideration besides thickness per se is the size of the overall watch. So a 12 millimeter thick 36 millimeter watch may fit better than an 8 mil 42. Absolutely. Sure. You got to take all those things into consideration. Absolutely. Give Mont Blanc the wide berth. Absolutely. Pass on them. Craig, what do you think of Eterna Volgan Big Date 42 millimeter? Just bought one. I would have to take a look at it to tell you what I think. Let me see if I can pull it up. Turner. Let's see here. Here's one for $995. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. This is on Joma Shop, Valentine's Day. My gosh, he says retail is $4,900. He's selling it for $995. Talk about taking a bath. I mean, somebody took a bath on this puppy. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty decent watch. I kind of like the lugs, the way the lugs blend right into the case. See the shape of the case? That's a more elegant looking case than those cases we were looking at earlier. So yeah, if that's what you got, yeah, hopefully you didn't pay more than $1,000 for it, because there's one for $995. Sarah's too cute to be trolled. Yeah, and she's a very nice girl. She comes from a great family. I've known the family for many years. They're good folks. They really don't deserve to be trolled. I don't understand why somebody would troll her. I mean, I guess I just come up from a different era, you know, where you opened doors for ladies, you treated them nice. I mean, you treated people with respect. I guess that's no longer in vogue, treating people with respect. Thanks again for your time, Craig. Well, thank you, Thomas, for watching. Hulk is maxi and looks great. Yeah, I'd pass on that. I gather you're not a fan of Tissot. Yeah, I wouldn't buy any of those no-name watches. Hard to read that dial. I don't know what... you mean the dial on the Eterna? Yeah, it looks like there's not a lot of contrast between those silver hands and the dial, but I'm sure it's not terrible. It'd be better if it had gold hands on that white background. It's trying to be a Calatrava. It has a very nice case design. The 4900 is rose gold. The 1000 is for steel. I bought the rose gold. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm sure it's a beauty. I think it's a good-looking watch. Thank you, Craig. I enjoy these. Guess some people are bored. Her and I share a mutual friend. Okay, good. Yeah, but you know, just because you're bored doesn't mean that you should act like an ass. I don't think that's a valid excuse for acting like a jerk. And trolling somebody like her, who's just an absolute wonderful person, is being a jerk, if you ask me. I mean, it just is it's just not. Her whole family, I mean, she was homeschooled. She was brought up right. She wasn't pulled up. She was brought up. You know who has terrible photos? Grand Seiko themselves. Yeah, they don't know anything about marketing. They are clueless when it comes to marketing. Just one more time. Ugly. Love the way you disrespect the maxi case. Well, it is what it is, folks. I mean, they blew it on that one. Hopefully they're going to change it with the new model. Hopefully they're going to fix their mistake. That would be good. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it. Hey, be nice, folks. Be nice to people. Let me see if I can get back in here to my Video Pro so that I'll be able to terminate the show. It's loading in here, so I'll be able to... I can do it on the Video Pro box, but I want to make sure I don't push the wrong button and do the wrong thing. It's easier to do it here. So I'm going to hit stop. Hey, remember, click that bell, click the subscribe, click that bell, all those kind of good things. Stop. Complete event.